Mingle. Rotary Club of the Cayman Islands Sunset. A new Rotary Club invites you to fellowship. Spark your curiosity. Consider membership. Wednesday, August 23rd, 5:30 to 7:30. A free Rotary Fellowship event after work. Refreshments, mingle, learning, opportunity to meet and greet. Supported by Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands. Rotary. Create hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, welcome. Another fantastic Monday as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Our good friends from Cayman Enterprise City are always up to great things, and we want you to be a part of what's going to happen. So log online, get onto those social media. Not social media, but out there. So YouTube and Facebook and all other stuff that's out there. Check it out. Listen to us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and it's a pleasure to live, laugh, and learn. And if you can show a little love, that's all. Give a little love, hopefully you receive it. Charlie Kirkconnell, man, the CEO of Cayman Enterprise, said, always a pleasure to welcome you. Always excited to hear what good things you guys are up to. So, welcome.
Thank
welcome.
you. Always a pleasure to be here.
They say oftentimes too much is given and much is required, and many times we are not appreciative of how important that is. And through knowledge, we get to learn. So as we, maybe through you, as we start the stage to talk about what's going on, could I go around the table and ask each of our wonderful guests to say a few words?
Yeah.
Through you, sir, we start with, Mr. Ali. How about that?
That seems like a good place.
That's a good place to start. Yeah. Let's start at the top. I mean, you can go down from there.
Ali Fa'amoy, Chief Technology Officer at Cayman Enterprise City.
Ali, thanks, man. I thank you for letting me, at times enjoy life vicariously through you, to see in the distance your exploits, your pursuits, the way you approach things, man. Thanks, honestly. Thank you very much for being you.
Sure.
All right, well, Yaro, welcome.
My name is Yaroslav Pшenicin, and I'm the Managing Director for Smart Contract Chainlink Limited, the creator of the Chainlink Network. Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Sterling, for inviting us.
Okay. David
Manishari, Director at AI Moda. We're a zone company as well. And thanks for having us on.
When I look, Charlie, at Cayman, and there was a time not long ago when we were said we only had two sectors to the economy. And they were simple, tourism and banking. Now they have encompassed nice words. Maybe like a good friend, sadly he's passed, but probably one of the greatest philosophers and comedians ever, George Carlin. Mm-hmm. What was simple, shell shock, has become, a word with many syllables and so on. So we've gone from tourism banking now to financial services and whatever, and then tourism is no longer tourism, it encompasses all these other things. But what CEC is bringing to the economy is more than just verbiage. You're bringing something substantive, something tangible, something that our people can benefit. If I might, at the outset, anything new at CEC?
Well, there's always something new, always something that we are struggling to kind of keep up with, but every bit of it important, so we take it on and we make it work. As per the usual, we continue to attract some of the world's leading knowledge and technology focused companies. But at the same time, we're also expanding our the knowledge transfer component of our project. This being through our Enterprise Cayman not-for-profit organization. That's inclusive of our new initiative, the thing that we're here to discuss today, the Cyber Sandbox.
All right. Well, I'll ask through you, but you initially. I mean, I hear sandbox and I think about playing, on the beach. I think about my cat. Then I hear cyber and I go, oh boy, so I'm going to get sand in my pants. But so what is Cyber Sandbox initiative? How did it come about? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so we felt that there was something missing. That as you've already alluded to, the space is growing in a very significant way. It's become a very vibrant and exciting, new component to the Cayman's economy. But we felt that one thing that was missing was, a casual forum for cyber enthusiasts at all levels to get together and kind of interact and kind of work on different projects that some of them being short quick quick topics designed to kind of increase people's knowledge or maybe introduce them to a new area of tech. And some of them will be, weeks-long projects. For example, we have some ideas about some hacks for social good type initiatives. Really to boil it down is that we felt like there was it's not a teaching opportunity. It's not. It is a learning opportunity, but it's not a classroom where there's going to be a lecturer that comes to the front and kind of tells people, teaches people about certain things. It's going to be more kind of project-based, where a task will be set. People will break into groups. Hopefully, we'll have people with advanced skills pairing up with people that are, maybe just starting out and working through the particular project and ending the session with a solution to the task that was set, and along the way, establishing relationships with each other, and increasing the knowledge and the knowledge transfer.
I certainly want to hear more about how to be a part of it, not just when, where, and how, and the cost, and the who, because this is where we learn, as students, we're in a classroom deliberately with an instructor to gain, but when we are peers, that knowledge transfer, society has gone through, we're told, that agrarian to the industrial to the information age, and maybe there's something else coming after, but Cayman is a service-based economy. How do we learn? If I might, Yarrow, maybe through you ask a couple of things initially. It's a pleasure to welcome you and to meet you. And in the spirit of Mr. Jeff Schofield, he wants to know, where did we find our guests? We weren't just in the parking lot. Respectfully, tell us a little bit about yourself, if that's okay, sir.
Sure, yeah. I'm originally from St. Petersburg in Russia. Grew up in England, studied there, went to law school there. I'm still admitted as an attorney in actually New York and England and Wales. And I did my master's in smart contracts, which is one of the things I'm going to discuss in a moment. That was in 2016, and that sort of landed me a position in the space. And I've been in the crypto, the blockchain space for 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. With our entity, Chainlink, we've been with the special economic zone since 2017. And I've seen the sector has continuously developed and grown over the years to adapt to changing demands of the Cayman economy, and there's been an increase in the number of blockchain projects and tech companies that have been set up here. The main changes that I'm seeing at the moment with the computer science and tech sector in Cayman is the constant exploration of the initiatives to promote technology and innovation, to attract technology and financial companies to come to the Cayman and bring business to the islands. So the jurisdiction is aimed to provide favorable regulatory environments and infrastructure as a result of those things.
I want to maybe ask you more when we come back from the break. But first, when we do return, David, I'll start with you and ask a little bit similar, to what we are, to appreciate where we are, what is Cayman, and how we can leverage the resources, the infrastructure, the people, and access. I'm going to pause and take a break, and when we return, please join us, because this could be where we find a new career, or we instruct our students or our children. Cayman is probably the best place in the world, but it won't be if we don't work together. All right, join us right after the break.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. Wow. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Looking to grow your business? We got this. Yellow Media Group has a proven track record for successfully marketing over 10,000 businesses on the web, expanding our customers' reach and providing measurable results. With the Caribbean's largest team of certified digital consultants, we handle everything, from website development to search engine marketing and much more. So don't worry, we got this. For a free consultation, contact Lee Hipkins at 936-1981.
Talk to Dick. But I do have some questions. Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks, if I might publicly say, to Mr. Charlie Kirkland, Cayman Enterprise City, not as a CEO, but as you come on a regular basis and bring Ali and your colleagues, bring the representative companies, we get to appreciate what Cayman is, what it could be, and the promise and potential that it has. It's not just for the profits from people who are in the zone, but to the country, employment, the positioning. It's fantastic. A two-legged stool is okay, a three-legged stool is even stronger. Man, you get a bunch of people together, it's even better, right? So, David, as we were going into the break, we were going to ask you when we return. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about you, and let's learn as much as we can.
Yeah, so my background is mostly in cybersecurity. I did go to school, but dropped out third year, much to the displeasure of my parents.
You too, huh?
Yeah. So we've mostly done historically cybersecurity consulting, but now we're starting to move more into the AI space. And go ahead.
No, good.
I think Cayman has a lot of opportunities. I kind of expect that probably within my lifetime, you'll have the financial industry, accounting and all that. But I expect that I wouldn't be surprised if tech overtakes tourism here in a couple decades. It won't be like next year, but eventually I think that's the natural progression.
And it's something that you just shared that may be within me, that not just the propensity, but the actual posturing that we should have for education, and how education is still presented as that formal thing. your parents are encouraging you, go to school, sit down in the classroom, you take your notes, you pass the exam, you get a piece of paper. All good. But it's changing the way we teach and learn. And with great respect to you, I am on the side of your parents. I didn't, But we also need to appreciate that the way we teach and learn is changing. Is it, and I ask this only to encourage us to, as policymakers and as parents, to understand the importance of what knowledge is and how it can benefit. Is it, as I found with some of my friends who were, my words, bored in school because they actually understood the text and the concept a lot better than the teacher, and they were more advanced, more interested than what was being presented. You dropped out because...
Yeah, for that exact reason, I was getting kind of bored.
Yeah. And Ali, I say that to pivot to you. Academics, as we aspire to be, good parents by role modeling, we want our children, but we can't hold them back. This is where I think CEC gives them an opportunity to see the world without leaving Cayman, to engage in industries and sectors and certain levels of expertise that they would not otherwise, but for CEC.
There's a number of areas, I think, where we're engaged to point out to students locally what companies like the two represented here have to offer in the tech space, and I think that potential is only growing. I think to David's point, you will see the tech sector grow exponentially in years to come for any number of reasons. Part of that is the environment that Cayman has to offer, and that CEC in particular can provide these folks to be able to set up shop here and to be able to operate globally, because the rule is that you can come to Cayman and operate within CEC, but you can't do business locally.
Yeah.
So every one of our companies is by definition operating on a sort of global scale. So being able to leverage that platform, I think, is important for the long haul. What we're trying to do within the Computer Science Society in general and the Cyber Sandbox in particular is to bring those brains together and to be able to work on cool and exciting projects that will benefit society generally, but students as well, and there are links then that we can forge between our efforts here in the Cyber Sandbox and things that we're doing on other fronts that we can come back and talk to you about.
Not only the respect for you individually and personally, but for our time and the topic, I won't pick you up on that point where, as a society, I question, and let's put it out there publicly for now, are we hindering our development and progress? Are we limiting our people when we say to companies like what happened with the Spectrum Economic Zone, you can't function in this space? To what extent are we limiting? Now, that's maybe a discussion for our policymakers, but for people to appreciate. But right now, you could be employed in one of the entities. You could travel the globe physically or just, figuratively. It still benefit. With that, Yaro, words like blockchain, and I think Charles said hack. Now, growing up, a hack wasn't a good thing. Today is an okay thing. I'm not going to get into whether it's good as bad and bad as good, but chain link was something I put around my yard to keep my dogs in.
Yeah. So
what is that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you more about chain link, and for the listeners, I'll keep it very high level, just so we don't complicate things and extend the area here.
So we're talking for the politicians to understand? Okay.
Well, yeah. I'll make it more simple. But not in regards to that, just so that everybody understands, because the blockchain space has been a developing space for, I'd say, 10 years now. So, and the fact that Cayman is at the epicenter of it as well, or North America, it's huge. And just to give you a bit of a background of what Chainlink does, so Chainlink, we're a decentralized Oracle network that serves as a bridge between smart contracts on blockchain platforms and real-world data such as events and information. And smart contracts are self-executing contracts with the terms of engagement and agreement directly written into the code. So in that sense, the argument of code is law. Those smart contracts run on blockchain networks such as Ethereum, which we are based on that, and designed to automatically execute actions when certain conditions are met. So if this happens, then that is the outcome, for example. However, smart contracts by inheritance are very limited in their ability to access the external data, such as real-time prices for decentralized finance, price feeds, weather conditions, stock market data, and many more. And this is where Chainlink comes in. Chainlink Network provides a secure and reliable way for smart contracts to interact with data and services outside of that blockchain. So we're one of those unique projects that have actually, in the last 5 years, have engaged with the traditional space. We work with SWIFT, we work with a lot of banks, we work with Deutsche Telekom globally. We work with anything that is tangible, that is real as far as the traditional space. We work with those, and to bridge that gap between real world data and the blockchain space, and that's why oracles are very important. So we're the leader in this space for that.
So is this where that the concept of AI? I mean, I told Charlie I tried to venture a joke. My friend would say, we talk about artificial intelligence, why don't we work on natural stupidity? But is it a case with, as you shared, that AI would then come in and be that thing that helps us to not just execute, but take the real-time data, make those decisions that once were the purview of the human, having to go through all the paper, seeing things. The AI guy will look at it and say, if this is this, it's more than just a what-if scenario or, one of those decision trees. It has it processing at, billions and billions of bits and pieces per nanosecond. Is that where that intertwine?
Yeah, I think it'll help with efficiency in the workplace a lot. I don't think it'll put us all out of jobs. I always use the example of self-driving cars. Self-driving cars have been like two years away for the last 20 years. Just because you can get maybe, 95% of the way there, but we still need humans for that last 5%. So I think it'll just be a help.
Let me ask it this way, as maybe it's easier for me. Accounting, for instance. With the greatest respect, most of us can do debits and credits, look at the balance sheet. This is the asset, this is the liability. We can add it up, even with a calculator or an automatic spreadsheet. But that's just getting numbers. We don't need a human to look at it and say, well, what does it mean? What information can I extrapolate from that for decisions? So the AI can do, but then the human needs to be that part that takes it a step further and give the analysis, the realness to it, as it were.
Yeah, so you'd be able to process a lot more, a lot faster. And I think that's also where Cayman being small is not a bad thing, because if we have a bunch of really high skilled people, we can do even more business internationally. For less educated regions, it might be a bit more of a concern, but I think for Cayman, it's in quite a good position.
And this is why when I made my comment earlier about ensuring that the businesses in any of the sectors are able to interplay directly in the economy, not only are you getting knowledge transfer, but you get an uptake from the people in the schools, not just math and accounting, but the importance of what you do. The AI is there, but who's designing it? Who's running it? Who's monitoring it? Who is, if it's not the people in the sector, in the economy, the citizens, then it's always an external hand. Right, David?
I think Cayman, especially with having Cayman Enterprise City here, it does attract the people who are quite senior in their field. So we have that magnet working for us. And then when those people come, you do need, for example, our team, we're expanding, and for entry level, the junior positions, it does make economic sense to recruit those locally. So, but the part of the problem that we have is just making people aware that there are these opportunities, and that's why I'm quite happy with the Cyber Sandbox initiative, because it does help. For example, one of our interns who is we've invited back for a second term now. We found her through Enterprise Cayman, and we just need a lot more of that type of thing.
As we go into this next break, Ali, you've always been a public champion for education, upskilling our workforce, but ensuring that the students very early on get introduced to as much of whatever the sectors have to offer. This initiative, is it in your mind just that tech savvy? I like the way you put it, man. You make nerds look great, man. You consider yourself a nerd, right? And when you say it, man, it's fantastic, right? It's not that derogatory term in American television way back when. Sadly, shouldn't have been to begin with. But is that just for those, or is it for all of us to be part of this thing?
Well, we have two lawyers at the table, right? Recovering lawyers who are, whether they like it or not, are in the tech space. And so I think it goes beyond just the folks who are purely interested in tech for tech's sake. But more than that, I think to David's point, what we're looking at with the sandbox is an ability to sort of almost bridge that gap between the restricted area that they have to operate in within the special economic zone and the ability to then take on some projects that might be able to have some societal good, some commercial good, but it's a sandbox. So it's an area where mistakes can be made, things can be played with without necessarily anybody getting hurt. But the ability to then maybe take what we develop in the sandbox and take that and deploy it elsewhere. It might be in Cayman, it might be elsewhere. To the extent that then provides an opportunity for folks to engage, whether they're in the tech sector or they're a student or they're interested in a career change, absolutely, there's going to be great opportunities for folks to engage.
And as I listen to you and looking at our history, Charlie, I'll just share this with you if you wish to before we go into the break. It's not any different from our shipbuilding sector in early days. The shipwrights, the master mariners, not only were they sought after for their skills at navigation, celestial or otherwise, but they could build a vessel that was seaworthy. We saw the U.S. military contracting and utilizing it for minesweeping. We see, big people asking for some of the best vessels. We had that ability. We had that respect. We had that credibility and the competence. But somehow now, a century later, we seem to be complacent, discouraged, lackadaisical. I don't know, displaced? Interesting, no?
Yeah, I mean, difficult question to answer, and be careful how I say what I say. But one way to look at it is that the shipbuilding of the past is potentially the technology building of the future, and Caymanians are resourceful, hardworking people who I think given the right types of opportunities, many have done so already, will embrace the careers in the technology space. And that's part of the reason for the Cyber Sandbox, is to kind of get people involved, to get them, maybe right now, especially some younger people, they have academic knowledge of what a career in tech might be all about. But this is an opportunity for them to see a real world, step into a room with people like David and other developers and other people in cybersecurity that are really in the space, and interact and get some real world exposure, spend some time with those people, maybe establish relationships, a mentor relationship, an intern relationship, and ultimately potentially leading to career opportunities. So that's the purpose of the sandbox, is to kind of be that kind of a catch-all for people who have advanced skills and are accomplished and are established in the tech space, and get those people in a room with people who are in the middle and people who are at the beginning.
All right. Perfect way to start the next segment when we come back. An invitation to all and sundry. Looking at that space before and see that it exists now. It may have been, someone with carpentry skills carving something no different than the person with a skill set now using something else, but similarly the outcome. All right, we'll pause. When we come back, we'll wrap our discussion up. We always enjoy our friends from Cayman Enterprise City. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we're introducing the new boneless hot sub.
Say what?
The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt@valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
From big to better. Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Cayman Islands is now 1-to-1. We may have a fresh new name and look, but we're as dedicated as ever to developing transformative connections between mentors and young people here in Cayman. We're set to ignite futures and encourage personal growth while creating lasting impacts. Join us on this exciting journey and get involved with 1-to-1 today. Go to 1to1.ky to learn more. 1-to-1 is proudly sponsored by Radio Cayman. 1-to-1, empowering youth, igniting futures.
Dress for success and demonstrate school pride by learning and following the National Dress Code Policy and the specific dress code for each government school. Under the National Dress Code Policy, boys' hair must be neatly groomed and of natural color. Uniform shirts must be neatly tucked in, undergarments concealed, sneakers or shoes black, and jewelry limited to a wristwatch. Take pride in your stride today. View the complete dress code policy at www.gov.ky/education. This is a message from the Ministry of Education.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Charlie Kirkconnell, Ali Farmo, Yarrow. Thank you to David for coming on, and hopefully through this discussion we get to see the opportunities that exist. We're talking about that, Cyber Sandbox initiative. Charlie, you have many things on. I think back to some of the, almost like lectures and workshops and seminars from the financial planning to the like that were going on over the summer. Many of our students have hopefully access them for the Cyber Sandbox initiative. Who can attend? How can they attend? Where is it?
Yep, I need to get to the housekeeping part.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Yes, please.
So the Cyber Sandbox, it kicks off in September.
Mm-hmm.
The first session is on September the 14th. Begins at 5:30 p.m. and runs to 7:30 p.m. It's at the ground floor at Strathbell House. Anybody who is 18 years or older may participate. So it's not an SEZ thing. It's anybody. This is open to the public. And you can, to register your interest, you can visit the website for Enterprise Cayman, which is enterprisecayman.ky. If you put in a / Cyber Sandbox, that will take you to the registration page.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, maybe just to keep it simple, if you go to enterprisecayman.ky, you can, go from the menu and find the registration there. And if you're having any trouble, give us, contact us any way that you can think of. We would like to have as many people, register and attend as we can. And a couple other things to note is there's no cost to register. And this is an initiative that is sponsored by Chainlink very generously. And one thing I should note is that, they kind of give you a feel for the types of things that are happening in Cayman. Yarrow approached us about, hey, we'd like to get involved in something in the local community. So this is initiative coming from, the project side, coming to CEC and to the Enterprise Cayman Initiative and saying we want to get involved. And so we identified the Cyber Sandbox as a great way for them to get involved. The steering committee of the Cyber Sandbox is the Cayman Islands Computer Science Society, which is there's a that steering committee is composed of people, experts in their fields from within the SCZ and a few people from outside the SCZ. And that group will set the agenda with the guidance and the input from the group itself for the Cyber Sandbox, which will be a work in progress and will go wherever that group wants it to go. Now, if I may,
yes.
I would like to ask David to talk a little bit about the first session so people get an idea of what the first session would be like and what to expect thereafter.
Perfect. That answers my next question. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah, as Charlie mentioned, the first meetup is on September 14th. Starts at 5:30 at Strathvale House on the ground floor. And so for the first event, we're going to have an informal expo. So you're going to have the opportunity to showcase either a software that you're working on or a project. It doesn't have to be something finished. It can be just even an idea you want to talk about with other people. And you'll get to network with other professionals ranging from, directors to people who are just starting like an internship. So it's meant to be more inclusive of all levels, not just, you don't have to be, the senior manager at XYZ firm. You can be, first year at university or looking for your first job in the industry too.
So whether someone has any particular projects they're working on, like you said, it could just be someone wondering, I wonder if this is for me. They can come along, a young student in university or high school, maybe someone working in a sector that has not quite bearing just yet, or an established professional, a recovering lawyer, for instance, who's looking for something fun.
Yeah, if you're looking for a project to work on, I know that the committee is coming in with a few ideas that we'd want to share with people at the event to see what they think about them and get a feel for what's the interest.
Yeah.
So
if I may ask, David shared, what our first session. What are you hoping out of this series? But from that first session,
from that first session, I think to have mass interest by the community in the Cayman Islands in order to gain awareness that there is accessibility to this sort of knowledge sharing, and I think it's super important for growth of the sector. And it's the initiative is very inclusive, promoting diversity and inclusion, which is very important, both age, gender, creed, color, which is I think is important, and one of the reasons why, obviously, Chainlink, we are sponsoring this initiative is because we feel like it's important to give back to the community, especially by those companies that set up shop here in the Cayman Islands. Those there are those that incorporate here and taking advantage of the benefits that we discussed at the beginning of the discussion here. Is that it's important to give back to the community, and by sponsoring such an important initiative for the development of young adults and those that want to learn more, and hopefully means that this will promote a surge in careers in the tech and computer science space, and that obviously requires good education, awareness, skill development, and supportive infrastructure, which CEC provides through this initiative.
Well, as we close the discussion, first to you, Ali, and then the final words to Charlie. We talked about cybersecurity, AI, and the like, things that are important globally, but as Yarrow shared, if we in this space, or students in particular, young, professionals, whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, whether you're, tech savvy, but an entrepreneur, this could be your space. This could transform not just your legacy and your wealth, but maybe even the global impact. Your call, as it were, to the wider community, or students in particular, take up this initiative.
Absolutely. This and some of the other things that we're doing as well. Before we got started, there was a discussion around one of our leading economists in the Caribbean, and her discussion with you about the impact that technology can have on an economy, that what CSC is doing in particular. But I think something that Charlie said earlier deserves quoting, and I might get our web people to put it on our website, as that tech can be to Cayman's economy what shipbuilding was in the past.
It was that deep, man.
That was good.
I mean, sister gave that to it. That was amazing. Put that on your website, man.
Will do.
All right. Out of the minds of Charlie comes the inspiration of many. Well, Charlie,
I guess if you say enough, every once in a while you come up with something that's not too bad.
You know what? I'm gonna leave that one right there. I had a lot being said.
There's a little bumper sticker there somewhere.
No, but thanks for coming on. And your final thoughts for today's discussion, Mr. Colonel.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to reiterate, if I may, the first session, September the 14th, 5:30 p.m. at ground floor, Strathville House. Please register your interest at enterprisecayman.ky/cyber sandbox, or send an email to info@caymanenterprisecity.com. Open to the broader community, 18 years or older. Please, but it's not an SEZ thing. It's open to the general public, and we hope to see as many enthusiasts, cyber enthusiasts, as are able to make it along.
All right. Just thanks very much. I'm hoping that we can have other discussions, both publicly on this forum, but otherwise, so that people can start to think and talk from an informed perspective with a view of including all and Sunday. Let this week be productive and hopefully a safe, enjoyable, exercise friendly one as well. There we go. All right. Enjoy the week, my friends. And to our listeners, join us right after the break.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. On Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, the Cayman Islands Tourism Association will host its 17th annual Cayman Stingray Tourism Awards event. Nominations are open and will be accepted through Friday, September 15th. For more information on the rules and regulations and how to nominate an outstanding employee or manager, contact info@cita.ky. In international news, neonatal nurse Lucy Letby, who is the UK's most prolific child serial killer in modern British history, will spend the rest of her life behind bars. The 33-year-old was convicted on Friday of murdering 7 babies and attempting to kill 6 other infants at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Letby deliberately injected babies with air, force-fed others milk, and poisoned 2 of the infants with insulin. She refused to appear in the dock for her sentencing hearing. Letby was given multiple whole life terms, one for each offense, becoming only the 4th woman in UK history to receive such a sentence. Whole life orders are the most severe punishment available and are reserved for those who commit the most heinous crimes. As people across Southern California sheltered from Hurricane Hilary, another natural disaster hit, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake. Its epicenter was northwest of LA, and #Hurriquake was soon trending on social media. It did not cause major damage, and the hurricane has also since been downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Ports, and I need your help to keep our beautiful islands clean. Littering is unsightly and negatively impacts our tourism industry, which is crucial to our economy. Keeping our islands clean is everyone's responsibility, so let's all work together to keep the Cayman Islands beautiful for generations to come.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on 9th September 1937. Fondly known as Big H to his family and friends, following a 5-year career at sea, Mr. Hinton returned to Cayman Brac, taking up work with Brac Power and Light Company for 3 years prior to moving to Grand Cayman, where he commenced employment with Cable and Wireless in March 1966. Big H would eventually move back to Cayman Brac, working his way up from a linesman to a supervisor throughout the 29 years of employment with Cable and Wireless, eventually retiring in August 1994. Following his retirement, Mr. Hinton continued to do electrical work for the many people of Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Each day we should look at it and be ever so thankful for being a part of the day, and to look at it with not just, a spirit of being gracious, but, grateful. Well, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen collectively with a unified approach in a positive and productive way for all of us. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the kind compliments of Flow for those who can access that line. 1-800-534-8255. I haven't gotten used to my friends who will take the digits and they say, we'll do it the way we do it, and they'll say, the number as if they're calling off something differently. But for us, it's 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Now, give us a shout, share your thoughts. You can also WhatsApp 925-3261. And as we welcome your contribution, quick reminder on behalf of CEC, starting on the 14th of September at their ground floor office at Strathfield House, 5:30 in the afternoon, this Cyber Sandbox Initiative. Good things to perhaps be aware of and hopefully to participate. Let's go to the phones though. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
How are you today?
Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good.
Good to hear you, man.
To be able to talk,
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to talk. It's better when someone is there to listen and hopefully respond. I always mindful that if you're talking to yourself, that's okay. It's just when you start answering yourself.
Answering yourself is the problem. Yeah.
But a fella,
I have to answer myself sometimes. Oh my goodness.
a fella did say to me the other day, he said, listen, I know you've seen me talking to myself often, he says. And I said, yeah. He said, don't worry, he's self-employed, he's just having a business meeting. You know? So,
oh my goodness, I love it.
yeah, man.
Well, you know, I wanted to call in to just get a little bit more of an understanding on something that I heard, and I never kept up with it because you know, sometimes you just hear things, and then when it's supposed to be heard of, you don't really have the time to be there, or you're unavailable. So I heard about this thing with the ghost Caymanians. What are they talking about when they say ghost Caymanians?
I'll
a state of emergency or something like this?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit that I understand, and I'll caveat it. No, actually, let me preface it. No caveats. Let me preface it. For some reason in this society, and we'll use the word media, whether it's the print, published, social, or otherwise, the comments that we add to things that are not so much informative as they are inflammatory. And there is no question, and this is just a personal perspective, that we have people who either came here very, very young or were born here, and somehow, and I do not understand the immigration system, I don't think many people do, those that don't seem to be the loudest like things to say things from ill-informed perspective, right? But there are individuals who are here, and the Honorable Sports Minister termed it once long ago, the Nowarians, right? People that don't know anywhere else, but for some reason they don't have any legal sort of citizenship status or otherwise. So for me, how are we building our nation? How are we unifying a nation if people feel no sense of ownership connection to the country, right? If it's just a convenience. That probably has done us a great disservice. I'm just thinking out loud, picking up on conversations that other people have and my own personal perspective, that if you don't feel connected to something, let's say you love football, but you're not really, an enthusiast about any particular team, then are you really invested in the sport? If you are in a country, but you're just there for convenience, economic, political, or otherwise, and you're going to take as much as you can for as long as you can, and eventually you're going to escape, are you really, really contributing? But more importantly, are you really benefiting from what the country has? Because maybe of your whole body, the only part of you that is in there is a toenail, a fingertip. You're not really vested in the country. So if, by extension, we have people who've been here for an extended period, and I'm not talking 5 or 10 years, right? And they don't feel in a sense of connection. They don't feel in a sense of ownership. Is that because when they were first sort of introduced to the country, when they first arrived, is that they didn't have a welcome? Were they told blatantly, you don't belong? If so, by whom and in what way? Was that something that was deliberate, or was it an unconscious sense of, feeling? I'm going to say more, but let me then ask you, your sort of introduction to this concept, the ghost Caymanians. Tell me about it.
Well, the way how I was thinking about it, because I noticed that maybe it's a concern for the individuals that have this ideology that the island needs to be more populated than what it is right now, I guess, because of the economy. But from what I'm seeing, right, is if they are trying to figure out who it is that are really Caymanians, why is it that when we applied for a voter's ID, that we have to prove that we are Caymanians in order to be eligible to have a voter's ID? Now, it comes in confusing when you apply for your voter's ID and it is granted, and now you're having to prove that you're a Caymanian. Furthermore, like as if I was to have to get my acknowledgement letter now. I mean, I would assume that maybe the acknowledgement letter should have been applied first before getting the voter's ID.
But
instead of confusing people to believe that they're a part of the system and they're not.
Yeah. I mean, I question sometimes, and like I said, this is something that people may hold against me, because they might say, "But boy, you don't know what you're talking about." That could be true.
Yeah.
They could say other things just to be disparaging, right? But look at the Cayman of today and ask yourself, for those of us let's just start with those of us who've been here forever. Our parents, their parents, their parents, parents, right? The term that we apply generational. If I might use him as an example for two reasons: the respect that we have for him and the respectable way he presents himself, but also the fact that he has been able to, be here for the decades, right? His age. Mr. Steve McPhail. He has shared publicly, almost what would seem to be an insulting, embarrassing, very offensive way that he's told now he needs to go down to immigration, stand in line, and get a letter to say that he's Caymanian, right? Mm-hmm. But let's compound that by what could be a very, very divisive approach. A person who has been given status, whether through political means, whether through some other way, gets a piece of paper. On that piece of paper, there is affixed some sort of stamp, seal, or otherwise signature that says that they're now a citizen of the country, status, and they can show that paper, and it would give them greater access, a greater right, a greater sense of recognition than, say, you, who has a voter's ID, but that voter's ID in and of itself is insufficient to establish and signify that you're a Caymanian, right? Now, that tells me, is there something wrong or suspected to be wrong with the acquisition of a voter's ID? If I have to produce some level of documentation to satisfy that I can legally vote, and to do so you must be Caymanian, should not the possession of that voter's ID in itself be sufficient to determine that I'm a Caymanian? Mm-hmm. Now, it gets worse when that person isn't of age or isn't a registered voter despite being of age. But surely we must be able to establish a system that identifies the citizens. Okay, we can't call them citizens because we're not a nation, but it's people, without offending those of us for whom a Caymanian is more than just a piece of paper, right?
Yes, sir.
And we can blame the politicians of now and of yesteryear, but are they the ones only to blame? Is it that we castigate the courts here and elsewhere when they make a ruling that we don't understand? Our passport presumably is only a travel document, but for many, possessing a passport meant that you were Caymanian, only to find out, well, no, it isn't. And it isn't because of our nationality being, British Overseas Territory citizens, or is it because we're told that some people who may come from other jurisdictions were given something, albeit a different color, that allow them to have some level of national identification, that being a passport of sorts, but they're not, by that its possession, is citizen of the country. Does that run afoul of what we understand to be in other countries, where if you have an American passport, you only have that because you're a citizen of the United States?
Yeah, I was looking in for this thing where I was looking at my acknowledgement letter of Caymanian, and my Caymanian as of right. It was saying under the section 14(2) of immigration law 1992. I was born in 1993, by the way, so it's right after that pass, I guess. I was thinking if my mother was a government employee at the moment when I was born, or just say, for example, she's I don't know, she does everything by law, how it's supposed to go. And if I was acknowledged as a Caymanian from birth, why is it that after she passes away, that I would have to actually do it over again? Or if it hasn't been done, why is it that I have waited 30 years before I could actually get to do this? Like the information was not provided that this is what you're required to do before you can access this certain privilege that you have.
Right. So let me then ask you, go back to your first point. Is it a fact then that when, in your situation, if you had it acknowledged, but after your parent passes, it needs to be done again? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Because what happened is, right, my daughter was born last year, and by my daughter being born last year, I had to get her acknowledged as Caymanian of right as well. In order for me to do that, I would have had to have been acknowledged as Caymanian, which means that I would have had to provide my grandparents information to show that I was, because my mom is dead now. They cannot use a death certificate or whatever it is. They need to see proof of her parents now. because of their being passed away. So it made it ever more difficult when they didn't inform me that maybe I needed to get my grandparents' birth certificate or one of my grandparents' birth certificates to show and prove that I am a Caymanian of birth.
Did you get some sort of reason? Was there an explanation given to you so you could understand what it is that you're doing and why you have to do it? Was that sort of explained to you?
I honestly believe that as long as you're born of a Caymanian parent, it should be automatically that when you in the birth certificate it says that you're born and is a Caymanian. I understand where it came into the part where the mother is not Caymanian, and it also takes the national birth rights of the parent. I would assume, like, from the country where the mother was born from, this is where the nationality that the child takes. But if given the father given the information that he's a Caymanian, the child has a right to be as Caymanian as I am.
Well, as I listen to you, I realize how emotive this can be, and how for some, not just confusing, right?
Yeah.
If a person, for instance, and I'm hearing increasingly from many, and I'll just use it, Caymanians, right? I know there are those who make a distinction between whether you're Caymanian by birth and generation or whether you're Caymanian by law. For me, Caymanian is Caymanian. And I'll say that to come back to in a second if you remind me. But if say you're a person now who, like you, has to go through a series of bureaucracy, and not just even the expense, whether it's free or not, but it's a time, to do this thing to show that you're a Caymanian, or it's an affidavit, or it's a piece of paper. Is there not a more sensible and respectful way to do this? And does it, by the way the system operates now, create a more divided society where a person who has been given status has that piece of paper because of the grant that puts them presumably in an easier, more convenient, perhaps advantageous position than someone like, say, respectfully me? My birth certificate says not only that I was born in Cayman, but the district I was born in. My father's and my mother's likewise, and even if I think I can find my grandparents, but at least their names are on it, on my parents' birth certificate. I will have to, if I understand it, go and get acknowledged. Now, to me, that is highly offensive. Or am I being too sensitive? As we say in West Bay, too touch us. I mean, you follow me, right?
I guess that's where the pride is. Like, if you feel like you have a right to stand up for something, you'll do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you don't do it, then you don't have a right to stand up for anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess that it was just something that I would have been, if I was in the situation, I wouldn't want to feel like I'm the only one left out. I'm pretty sure that there are many other people out there that maybe have the same question. They don't know how to put it together and ask the question. But I'm not a person that just like to take orders and then just do as I'm told. I'm a person that just like a little bit more conscious about what I'm doing. And then if I was to step in a ditch without anybody telling me that I will fall, I mean, that would just be my fault, right? If I didn't know that I would fall if I stepped in a ditch.
Well, I appreciate you sharing. And maybe this whole discussion isn't one that should just be so casual. And maybe it isn't, as some are suggesting, just inadvertent. What if it's conscious? What if it's designed by, the mechanism that divides us, right?
Yeah.
And if so, then who are the losers at the end of the day? We do have another call, but anything else you want to share?
No, I'll leave it for another day.
Yeah, man.
I got as much as I needed to know right now, so I mean, I'll just continue listening for the day.
Well, thank you for sharing. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you very soon.
Yep.
All right, let's take another call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Not too bad.
All right.
Look out here, look at that garbage. Oh, Sterling, what a story. Oh, my God. You see the photos?
I am looking at them as we speak. Yeah.
Terrible.
What do we do about that? So can I share just with our listeners? We receive a number of photos from many of our listeners of just garbage at different properties that not only are the bins overflowing, but sometimes there are no bins, right? And I must say to you that we have received similar photos for the last few weeks, especially in light of the tourism campaign or the tourism ministry's campaign about beautification and the like. So let me ask, when did this happen? Where have we gone wrong? Where we've been this society where cleanliness was next to godliness, where we not only kept our own yards or streets or sidewalks, the business premises, were on a daily basis, twice a day, morning and evening, cleaned, washed down, garbage picked up. There was no litter. Now it's like, what did the Honourable Tourism Minister call it? Nasty.
Sterling, you talk to me now?
Yeah.
You want to know what's gone wrong. Sterling, what's gone wrong is that we are growing the population, but we're not putting down our laws and restrictions of how things should be done in operating this island. Because if you want population, you got to make sure that this garbage is picked up more regular than once a week, and making sure that these people are putting their garbage in proper bags. And I always say they need to stop putting this garbage to the road, and when the day for the garbage truck to come, they pull it up to the road the night before and let it be there just that one particular time to be picked up that morning. Sometimes the trucks are broken down too, so that's another something. But the fact is, Sterling, this garbage that we got here in Cayman, to me, it looked like something being done very spiteful and jealousy. They don't care how the island looks. As far as I'm concerned, that the landlords and the rentals that is renting these places, I don't care who the landlords are. They're Caymanians, foreigners, or what nationality they come from, but whoever they are, who born here found Cayman clean, who came here found Cayman clean. So what is your problem? Keep it clean. You know what I mean?
But is it then that we're not speaking up and insisting, not just by example, but by action, to ensure that people, all of us, respect the ethos? I'll say that to share. I was told on Friday of an incident. An individual allegedly saw another individual just toss an aluminum can just on the ground and just made the comment. Now, I wasn't there. I didn't get it firsthand, as they say. So I can't tell you the tone or whether it was said to the person directly or, as happens to many people, just a comment in passing. But made a comment to the effect that, there's a garbage close by, only to potentially end up in an argument. Now, should we even have to talk to people about that? Should we not know whether it's recycled or not? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I know one time at school too, a kid threw the garbage on the ground right next to the garbage bin, and I say to the kid, why didn't you just put in the garbage bin? He said, oh, that's what they're getting paid for. I said, excuse me? That's not the way to look at it. Come on, young man. Come on. Don't do that. You live in your own country.
Yeah.
Well,
one of our listeners just messaged to say that we've gone wrong by not enforcing the laws and not amending laws in order for enforcement to be carried out.
True.
That could be one of the problems that we have. But again, shouldn't we not know better? Because if not, then we'll know better.
Sterling,
Sterling,
let me tell you something. When you just say we know better, knowing better and caring and don't care is another ball game by itself. So a lot of people don't care. And the few Caymanians that is left, they're having the same behavior too and saying, well, oh, they can come and do it, we're going to do it too. They just showing a very lack of interest in the island, period. And I don't know what is happening. I don't know if it's because they're under a lot of stress. They can't take care of their families, and they just come up and throw it and say, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. That kind of attitude way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't know how much attitude that we're dealing with here in this island, Sterling, you would drop down and get back up and say, man.
I hear in what you're saying that there is an answer. I'm just hoping that there are people not only willing to embrace it, have the courage to do so, but willing to step up. So, thanks. Anything else you want to share before we take the next call?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Sterling, as you know, the new school year is starting this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I take this upon myself, and I hope no one interpret it wrong. I'm just asking all parents. So find an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes after your kid is home to talk to your kid to find out how they go and talk to them. The bullying in school needs to be stopped. Asking the parents to ask their children, do not bully another child. It is not right because you would not want to be bullied. We got 11-year-olds going to John Bray and this week, going to face 14 and 15, 16-year-old children. I'm just asking the parents to please keep in touch with your children. Talk to them and teach them the right things to do when they're out in society as well as when they're at home. Be nice. Be courteous to your classmates. Be respectful to the teachers and the principals and the drivers of the bus and the bus wardens and everybody in that category. Teach the children to be somebody, not a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Because our children need to be taught all the right things that will make them where they want to go in the future. Because right now, the teaching came on is putting them for our children. So I just ask the parents to please get involved in your children. If your children don't have any homework for a week and a half, you take yourself and go to that school. You get lunch hour, you get sick leave, you get vacation. You need to go and find out what your child is not having no homework. Look into your children. The education is very important. Let's try to fight this education that we say our children are getting and stop blaming everything on the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We as parents need to step up to and do our job as parents for our children. So I'm just asking, so new school year, please focus on your children. And then they want to talk, whatever you're doing, you drop what you're doing and listen to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could probably save their lives. And the bullying needs to stop.
Yeah. I appreciate that you're referencing that because we take it so much, that we don't realize what they're facing. But thank you. Okay, thank you for being you.
Okay.
All right, talk to you again. So. Good. All right. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon, Sterling.
What's up, man?
All right, man. Good, man. I have a question. I want to know what's going on with FIFA and with the use of the football field. Because yesterday my son and a few of his friends went to Annex Field just to kick some ball and play around. Was there no league game scheduled? No, nothing was scheduled to play. The field was empty. And the security guard at Annex told them they were not allowed to come on the field and play, that they had to get permission from FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what's going on, what's the real protocol here or criteria for anybody to use the field. Because as far as I know, all these years coming up, those football fields was they're public and they for the people to come play on, right? Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong necessarily, but I'm glad that you referenced that. I'm sorry that is happening. Two things immediately come to mind. One is we're told, like you had the experience at the Annex, people at the Aidbush field, similarly, not the practice, not the main field, but the practice field included. They had a similar experience where they were just going to go and park the car and then walk around the field because it was off the road. They felt it was safe and it was a good place that they could, exercise and not have to worry about dogs and cars and other things, right? To be told the same thing by the security there. We did reach out to the respective ministry and we did get a response. I'm going to look for it to see if it's to hand and I can read it again.
Yeah, because this security, even went as far yesterday as calling the police. The police came on the field and was telling the children, like, coming like they weren't supposed to be out there, or they're not allowed out there. And,
Right.
and the children questioned, it was, is this for the public, you know?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, for the public, and and
Right.
told them, okay, well, you guys can play this time, but next time you have to go get the permission or get a receipt, bring a receipt or something like that from CIFA.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's the real criteria going on here.
What we'll do, we'll send a message. I'll see if I can contact Mr. Whitaker as CIFA president while we're on air. But if not, we certainly will send him a request for clarification. But the second thing that comes to mind, though, we know the practice was that at the Truman Borden Stadium, the National Stadium, the main field, there has been this policy for the longest time that that's not allowed to be used unless there's specific permission. It's only for the national teams and the like. Now, people may accept that as being, appropriate. They may not necessarily, right? But to your point, Ed Bush Field, Annex, or any of the other fields in any of the other districts, does that same policy apply to those as well? And if so, does that really serve any purpose? Does that openly discourage,
Well, I understand the one about the national field and Truman Borden. I understand that.
Right.
I can see where they come from with that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And furthermore, there's another field just adjacent to that.
Exactly.
Where people play on.
Right.
Annex Field, there's no field adjacent to that. So what about the people that live in that direct, in that vicinity there that want to play football or want to exercise or whatever the case may be?
But let's take your thing, and I know we have a break, and I'm really appreciative. And this is where a question like yours in the public domain helps us to get a clarification, understanding, and maybe appreciate that people are misinformed.
Yeah, man, we need some clarification on that.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
We'll see if someone can reach Mr. Whitaker. Maybe we can have a chat with him, formally or informally. Perhaps the respective ministry or the facilities or whomever it is now that takes care of these public spaces can make us understand.
Yeah, man. Look into that for me, please, because
I will.
it needs to be clarified.
That I will. I made a
I'm
note.
not putting a call every day or whatever, so
I understand that.
find out and then just announce it
Yeah, man.
whenever
Yeah.
when the situation is.
All right. Hey, thanks very much. All right.
Yeah, man.
And if you hear anything further in your inquiries, please let us know as well.
Yeah, man, I'll do that.
All right. Cool.
All right, sir.
Yeah, man. Pause. Take a break. There's some callers. Is there chocolate anywhere? I'm going home then. They say dark chocolate is good, Foolishly, I think I've missed mine, but that's on me. All right, join us after the break. Stay tuned.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
CUC Advisory. Customers are advised of a scheduled outage on Wednesday, August 23rd between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Conch Point Road between Powery Road East to where CUC's electricity service ends. For more information, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Back to school just got a whole lot more exciting with Digicel. Activate a Prime bundle or sign up for postpaid and you could win big. We're giving away $1,500 cash, plus Winner's Circle and office supply gift vouchers weekly. But wait, there's more. The grand prize of $5,000 goes to a local school of your choice, and you get a MacBook just for staying on any of our prepaid or postpaid plans. Stay connected, stay smart, and win with Digicel. Terms and conditions apply. Visit digicel.com for more details. Digicel. Better connected.
Hey, we got to have love now.
Friends of Ja Mitch come out to support a special live music fundraiser at the Hartwell Theatre Saturday, September 2nd from 7 to 11 p.m. Free admission for all, but donations welcome to support the recovery efforts for one of Cayman's legacy musicians, Ja Mitch. Performances by Swanky, 5th Division, Heat, Sugar Daddy, and the J.R. Douglas Band. Proudly sponsored by the Caymanian Times, Young Blood Productions, CNCF, Love Culture, Reflections, and Radio Cayman. The Friends of Ja Mitch live music fundraiser at the Hartwell Theatre. Free admission Saturday, September 2nd from 7 to 11 p.m.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and it's open line. Let's take this call. Welcome. Thanks for sharing.
How are you doing, Dwayne?
Excellent, excellent. How are you?
Good, not bad, not bad.
All right. My daughter said just one bad?
Yeah. Couple things. First, I want to ask a question. I listened to a call a while ago. The young guy talking about proving that he's a Caymanian.
Uh-huh.
So I want to know is that if you can vote, right? Isn't the voters card supposed to do the thing?
But that's something I asked earlier, and not just publicly, but before. If the voter's ID is the thing that establishes you as a Caymanian, that allows you to be able to vote, because only Caymanians can vote, then I'm missing something there. Help me understand that.
Well, if they're going to say no to that, right, then anybody can go vote anyway.
Well, again, help me to understand it, because
I
it must be.
understand, because if that is supposed to be acting as your national ID, saying that you're Caymanian, because you're only supposed to be either born Caymanian or recognized as a Caymanian, but have all the paperwork straight to be able to vote anyway, all right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yep.
So that now ultimately is supposed to prove that you are in fact a Caymanian.
Yeah.
So that should be enough to show any entity that asks if you're a Caymanian, not your voter's ID.
Yeah. I mean, I'm questioning to what extent, and I'm going to read something that a listener shared that is similar to what other listeners have shared. This is not intended to inflame anybody, to be divisive. I think I'm fair in saying that I've always shared publicly, let's find a way to come together, all right? We're stronger together. But by the same token, I make no apology for loving this country and demanding the best for it and of it and its people, right? But to your point, what are we doing? Are we consciously trying to divide this community more and more because it's easier to conquer if we're divided? Are we...
Well, what it shows me, Dwayne, because that is supposed to be your better than that idea that you can get a given island to show that you're a Caymanian, right?
Yeah.
So it shows me one thing. Simply the department and who is supposed to recognize this ID isn't doing it.
Okay.
That's all that is, right? Because that ID is supposed to be recognized wherever you go to prove that you're Caymanian. I don't care where you go.
Yeah. But
that's a government-issued ID saying that you're Caymanian and eligible to vote.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that no one will want permit to go vote.
But that's the thing, right? It seems that... let me say this and then ask. I have been reliably informed by two individuals, one of whom is an elderly lady, right, in the sense that she's past 65, incredible in every respect, highly respected and respectful. And she shared, she's went in, to the bank while they discovered, we need to update your KYC, your ID. They wanted two pieces of ID, passport being one of them, and driver's license and whatever, right? She has her driver's license, and I don't know about you, but I don't carry my passport unless I'm traveling, right?
No.
Unless I go to the back.
I have mine on me all the time.
You have yours on you all the time?
I drive a license.
Yeah.
My voter's ID and my driver's license. So if anybody asks for two forms ID, that's a two forms
right.
ID. I'm
But not your passport, right?
No, that's two government issued ID.
And she shared that I'm going to go to driver's license, only to realize in looking for it through her purse, wallet, or I guess purse, handbag, here's the voter's ID.
Yeah.
I'm told that the individual with whom the bank is employed knows her. She knows the little child, as she said. I can't tell you whether that child was 24 or 43. All right, but sorry, ma'am, we're not allowed to take this. This is not recognized as an ID, a valid ID. The discussion, I'm told.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's no institution in Cayman Islands that can physically tell me that, because I would argue that because that's a government issued ID.
Well,
you almost have to give your whole birthright to get that. Right?
Well, I agree with you.
Everybody in this island, whether you're on work from or not, can get a driver license. Okay? Not everybody, right, can meet the criteria to get a voter's ID.
Right.
Or right? So which ID proves more so that you're a Caymanian?
Well, I'm with you.
And with the voter's ID, that you will now voting in the constituency that you're in, which proves your address. Right? You have a driver license, you can change that anytime, every year, to check your address on your voter's ID to make sure after you vote. Am I correct in saying that?
Listen, if there's one document, given all that we've said about driver's license and passports and the like, the one document that should show that you're a quote-unquote Caymanian, however that's defined, should be your voter's ID.
Should be voter's ID, correct.
But then...
I not spend too much time on that because you're a little frustrated, right?
Yep.
But what I want to talk to you about is this. I was a bit perturbed and disappointed while I was away for a while, and I happened to be listening to the talk shows whenever I get a chance that I can. I've been listening to it while I was there. And I actually called in at the time, but I did not get through with the call. And that was when the opposition was on the radio talking to Mr. Connor morning. I think that was on Friday morning. Right? And listen to them talking about people walking around aimlessly and have to do something about the poverty and have to do something about people walking around aimlessly and don't know where they're going. And at one point in time, they mentioned about NAU giving support, and people can't cash checks when they get checks, government checks, and they can't get the NAU monies, and maybe they should think about paying cash. I mean, literally, that totally infuriated me. Right? And I'll tell you why. And then they were talking about putting an entity in place, right? Expanding the government belt again, right? So we pay more people more money again, right? To bring up the cost of living again, right? I wonder if any Caymanian that vote listens to what these people come on the radio and say, whether it be the now government or the government in waiting, which is, I guess, would be your opposition. Right? Anybody listen to what these people are talking about? Right? And I'll tell you something. Why are we even writing checks from NAU to any individual? We should not be doing that in this day and age, right? They should be given a card, right? And NAU should open an account for the individuals that they are supporting. And they give them a card that could be used anywhere. No matter where they go, they could use that card, and everybody accepts that card, right? What that does, Dwayne, is that proves to you what these people are spending the money on that you're giving them. Because if you've given them support and spending money on alcohol, maybe you may not need it, right? So, and you themselves can look and say, well, boy, you spend it not on a light bill, you're buying alcohol with it and going barroom, whatever. No, I'm not giving you that. That's what somebody else that really need to pay the light bill, need to pay lunch, or whatever the case may be. Right? How are we knowing what these people are spending money on? Not saying, no, don't get me wrong, that everybody gets money and spend it frivolously. but you will have those that do so. How are you keeping track of that in this day and age? And then you talk about giving people cash and talking about opening an account for people that can't get a bank account and going on to the bank. That shouldn't be done. NAU need to open accounts for these people that they're paying money to and give them a card and they can track and see what the spending is going so you know where the money is going. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I get the impetus and sort of it. But then I was just wondering, thinking back to U.S. President Clinton that may have coined the phrase, let's move on from welfare to workfare, where he was trying to, as I understand it, figure a way that in return for receiving government funds, we move the people along, get them employed, get them a sense of ownership, sense of responsibility, get them feeling a pride in themselves as opposed to just being this welfare recipient, a term that...
How are you going to do that when decisions are not made to be able to carry people through the system? Meaning this, I wonder if the opposition believe that this problem just started a year or 2 years ago. This just didn't just pop up,
Yeah.
This been happening and getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the days go by.
But right? Can I ask you, right? And because you referenced opposition, and I say this carefully, I have no problem talking politics. I want to learn more about it, but I don't want to be political. But in our system where we have a government, then we have an opposition, and the system that we're creating to me is polarized and divisive and counterproductive, right? Is it then that the government invading the opposition, in order for them to look good, they will make the government of the day look not as good, all right?
Yeah, but that benefits no one.
Exactly.
Right? So all these sound bites actually benefit no one because nothing is being done for the people on the road, right? So I can bring this up to you now. You have the government sitting there. I've seen plans put behind Scranton, behind Zodiac, whatever you want to call it, by Rogelio's there in the back, right? Put a plan to put in a park in the back there, with waterfall and water feature and all this other crap in the back there, right? You can spend this money to put a park, okay, in a community like that. Wouldn't it be better if you put a facility there where the children and the people that live in the back there can get access to computers to do the school work? You think a water feature can help them get a job? Wouldn't it be better to spend the money to put a facility that have access to computers that they can't afford, that have people there to tutor them, to be able to volunteer the time to go to that building to tutor them, to make sure they can fit into jobs that we're bringing in people for? Wouldn't that be more suitable than putting a water park? Now, who is that benefiting to put a water park because it makes you as a politician look good?
Yeah.
That's foolishness. I'm sick and tired of politicians getting in and spending money on these things to secure their job and not doing anything for the people, right? And it's a little bit sickening, right? Because you have Caymanians like me that's trying to do things out there, and you get the most fight. Always good for Cayman or whatever the case, you know my issues, right? Okay, and you get the most fight and you get some down. I guarantee you if I flew in here from somewhere else, right, I would have gotten through with what I wanted to get through with now. Because you give concessions out to all these people to do all these different stuff, and you're not looking out for our people. You're not concerned with our people. The only time they're concerned with the people out there, they're concerned after their 4 years are almost up and they want to secure their job and their pensions and everything, then they come knocking on your door, right? And Caymanians need to understand that don't play it anymore. And they got to stop this foolishness and look at see what these people are doing. Things like parks and stuff in these areas. When you have Caymanians come out of school and can't find a job, you got Caymanians that don't have access to computers in those areas and need help. And a park is not going to help that. A park bench is not going to help that. Right?
No, the focus on education is important, but the recreational spaces, not just to play and to get sun and to learn social skills. I mean, they have you would agree, a very, very important place in society, especially in the life of a young child, right? A safe place to play, that they can develop their motor skills, that they can learn how to socialize, they can problem solve. Isn't that what break time at schools is supposed to be for as well? The playgrounds?
Of course, that's what it's for, doing. But we have plenty of parks around this community that's not taken care of right now. You can put another park that you got struggle now for government to take care of. Put a facility where people will learn something, where people can get help, right? Okay, where people can get prepared to go into the workforce. Okay, if they need an application filled out, they can do that. I would have preferred the opposition come up and back And instead of talking about people walking around aimlessly, maybe if a facility and you push for a facility like that to be down, and they wouldn't be walking around aimlessly.
Yeah.
Go somewhere and try to find something to do. Right?
I mean,
you can have access to computer and stuff like that to use it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I in that, again, maybe we as the populace, in particular the voters, are too complacent and are too willing to be fooled and duped by the politician, right, who's campaigning for election or re-election.
I don't know if it's that, Green. I think people are just tired of the same things happening and they're not paying attention anymore.
Yeah.
They don't care and they just give up and throw their hands up.
Right.
But I'm asking them not to do so. Because if they do that, then things carry on the way it's coming and it's not getting any better. People are about ready to almost lose their houses because they cannot pay their bills. Okay, that's what's happening now, You need to figure out an option, a deal, how to deal with this issue. Right? They can go in cabinet today and they can pass a law stopping the monies that going out of this country from the pension funds and lend it to Caymanians so they can save their houses because it's coming, Right? I told you this before and I'm going to say it again on the radio. It is coming, right? And they're waiting until it comes and the horse run down 3 miles down the road to try to pull it back. We need to deal with the situation. Now, I don't need a bank to tell my fellow Caymanian that can't pay his mortgage that they give him 30 days notice before they put up the interest rate. I don't want to hear nothing about that. Right? That's foolishness. Okay? I wouldn't even come out and say that in the news that is what I accomplished. Like going and talk to them and asking them to give me 30 days they can put up the interest rate. That's foolishness. What you need to do is tell me that you went in cabinet and you pass a law and you pass a policy that Caymanians can have instead of getting their pension money, that's taking it and spending it out, right? And they not have no pension, that they can access that money. Okay, not their alone pension money. Every foreigner that's working here in a work permit, you're accessing that money to help you save your house. Help a Caymanian only save their house. Right? So now that people are working here, they're giving something back by access to that money. Right?
I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand. You're saying that if they allowed access to the pension, it should be only for Caymanians?
I'll explain it like this. Right? This should only be for Caymanians. That they stop the pension fund from sending the money out, all pension funds. Have them put it in a bank here. That the bank system lends the money out to Caymanians at a lower interest rate. Right? So the Caymanians can get a lower interest rate at 3% and it will never come up. It will be stayed and the pension money will make that. Therefore, right, the pension people will be guaranteed a 3% return on their pensions, right? People are not lending it out, you're losing money in your pensions, you're guaranteed a 3%. You're helping a Caymanian to keep his house because he's getting the loan at 3%, therefore putting more money in his pocket. Right? That's what you have to do. Now you put that money in that person's pocket. You are now using the pension fund money, and if you look at it as 20,000, 25,000 voters and 85,000 people, right? How much them work permit holders are here? Okay? How much them paying pensions? So whose monies are you actually using to keep a Caymanian's house? Right? And you guaranteeing them 3% on their money and their pension, and then stop the Caymanians from taking their pension money out, which you're not going to get when they really need it. This is foolishness to even fathom doing something like that. Right?
It's something that I think we've failed in the past. We saw businesses question about access to, business financing. We had the Agriculture Industrial Development Bank, or what's called the Cayman Development Bank now. When it was AIDB in the past, the cost of capital was either exorbitant or almost non-existent or inaccessible. A mortgage that we call a mortgage is nothing more than an inflated car loan, right? So your suggestion is making the money available at a lower rate for a longer term and a fixed amount, right?
Exactly. And
a true mortgage.
Pension money to do so, right? A true mortgage. Use the pension money to do so only for Caymanians. If you're buying a new house, you use that money. If you have an existing loan, then the banks will understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because those mortgages are going to move and go somewhere else. Then the banks will understand to stop doing this to Caymanians, right? Okay, because they're quick to put up the interest rates. And you have money in your bank. Do you see your interest rates and your money you have in your bank? If you have any, raise it.
Well,
I'm going to ask you that and ask anybody else that. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So you're putting up the Fed rate, but the deposit funds in the bank that you're using to lend these people money is not going up. Are you ridiculous?
So is that because the politicians have failed to pass the laws, or if the laws are there, we fail to enforce them, or just don't?
They have failed to think ahead to help Caymanians, the same Caymanians that are voting from, all of them have failed, continue to fail, right? And I'll leave you with this. Right now, one of the things that people do when they come here in order to get Caymanian status is they go and purchase land or purchase a house. Am I correct in saying that?
Apparently, that is the expectation, and some have told me that that's not really true, but that seems to be the practice if it isn't.
Well, I know a whole bunch of people that went to start, and that's one of the things they went and did. Want to invest in a country as in buy property or buy a house, okay? Right? And I've seen that over and over and over again. So what you do when you do that now, and in my view, you shouldn't be able to own a house here, right? Like that, if you're applying for that until you get your status. Unless you have the funds to be able to buy a house. Because all you do is put out the market for Caymanians that wanting to buy a house.
And maybe if, by extension, you're saying that shouldn't be, if there's a point system for argument's sake, that shouldn't count towards your points. Okay.
No, it shouldn't be done. Right? If you have to put an investment in the community, what the government should put in place is to put something where I'm a foreigner come here and I have to put some kind of investment to see I'm have an invested interest in the community. Give me a fund that I can put $50,000 in, $25,000 in, that goes towards the education of a Caymanian going to college. What about that?
Your comments have, and I'll share them after the break, sparked a lot of. I'll take this last one because it just came in. It says, if there's a point system, maybe there should be no points for walking dogs, but countless points for tutoring and for scholarship.
My friend, it is a broken system that we have here, and the problem with the broken system, right, is only the Caymanians that have to pick up the pieces of it being broken, right? Okay, the same as when Ivan came, most everybody that was here that didn't need to be here, they got on a plane and leave. Who were left here?
Those who were connected and saw their desire to stay and work together, right?
And you saw the foreigners that was here that meant well for the country. What did they do? They made sure and they gave and they made sure that they came on. And people, you know who they are. I know who they are.
They were shoulder to shoulder, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but we continue to do these things and we're not looking out for our people and we leave it by the wayside while you're flying all over the place and you're beating up your chest about a park and this and that. Do something that directly affects your Caymanian people, not for today, right? But for all the time, for all the children coming up, along this to make sure that they can get a job, that they can make the financial thing that they have to be able to own a house and to own a piece of land and to get a car and all this other stuff. That's what we need to do. We need to put money in the Caymanian pocket. And the answer is not government spending more money. Because when government spend more money, right, it costs us, the people, more, which brings up the cost of living. Right? And the minimum wage does not solve this issue because if you put up the wage today, the prices in the stores will go up.
To pay for that increased wage?
To pay for that increase. They need to think about how they're going to tighten government belt and stop giving away concessions.
Let me, I do recognize the time and I know we have another caller, but let me ask one quick question. You can answer, let's let it see others as well. If we increase the minimum wage, if we have a minimum wage, whether we increase it or not, and if the majority of people in Cayman are on a permit, a work permit, who would benefit most from the minimum wage?
Well, if they say that Cayman is most of the jobs right now, it wouldn't be the Cayman.
Okay.
If they're not working for $6 an hour right now. The point is, what we need to do is we need to be able to put true support, not fake support for our people. We need to put true support for our people. As in, if you really have somebody, don't get me wrong, you have somebody out there actually looking at jobs, right? And you have the people that don't really want a job that you're going to have to support. Every country has this, right? And for me to say that that's not true, right, is a mistake, and it would be a lie. Every country has people that truly looking at a job and people that are not really looking at a job. But any of you must know those individuals, and you know you're going to have to take care of the people because they end up being Caymanians and make sure that the Caymanians are doing it forward. Right? Okay? But we need to put true things in place to put Caymanians in the workforce and be able to get them in there. And if they don't want to go in the general workforce, help them do a business. But you need to put money in Caymanians' pocket. And how you do that? Okay? You start spending money on parks. You start spending money on educational things like computers and facilities that they can go get children and they can learn. So there's plenty of people here that would like to go and tutor a child to teach them how to read and write or something like that. Right? Instead of going and watch them play in a park and putting a pond in that they can like they're drowning. Okay? Right? So that's my issue when I sit down and look at these things, and I shake my head and I look at it, and I have people coming up right now that cannot pay their mortgage and wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage and cannot pay their light bill, and then the government will come out, right? And this is even worse. The government will come out with a partner up plan talking about they're going to fix 10 to 15 houses. Who is that? What is that going to fix? Right? That is what you're doing, to fix 10 to 15 houses, because you're putting foam and whatever else in the house to make them more efficient. Bro, that's a fallacy, right? That's stupidness, okay? They've been better off taking the $500,000, right, and putting it up into a fund and make people go and borrow money against it to open up a business or something instead of doing that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, all right? All right, let's pause. Go to the news. When we return, more open line. We got a voice note to share, calls to take, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Passport and Corporate Services Office announces that Monday, 21st of August, individuals and businesses can verify an apostille certificate issued in the Cayman Islands via its website, gov.ky/verify-apostille. In international news, some 850 people are still missing after the devastating wildfires in Maui, County Mayor Richard Bisson has said. Over 1,200 people who had been on the list of those missing have been found safe, Mr. Bisson said on Monday, warning numbers are expected to fluctuate. 114 people are confirmed to have died. President Joe Biden is scheduled to visit the island for the first time since the deadly fires swept through earlier this month. Saudi border guards are accused of the mass killing of migrants along the Yemeni border in a new report by Human Rights Watch. The report says hundreds of people, many of them Ethiopians, who cross war-torn Yemen to reach Saudi Arabia have been shot dead. Migrants have told the BBC they had limbs severed by gunfire and saw bodies left on the trails. Saudi Arabia has previously rejected allegations of systematic killings. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Honey, did you get your Benzorama ticket yet?
Benzorama what?
The Lions Club Benzorama fundraiser. You could win a brand new Mercedes-Benz.
What? I have always wanted a Mercedes. What kind of Benz?
A brand new sparkling 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200. Tickets are $25 for one, 3 for $65, or 5 for $100. And you're helping to support the many Lions Club of Grand Cayman causes.
Driving in my new Benz and feeling good about helping the community.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama Fundraiser. Your chance to win a 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200. Benzorama fundraiser tickets are available from Lions Club members and various sales outlets. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser supports numerous community initiatives, includes site screening, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
Back to school just got a whole lot more exciting with Digicel. Activate a Prime bundle or sign up for postpaid and you could win big. We're giving away $1,500 cash, plus Winner's Circle and office supply gift vouchers weekly. But wait, there's more. The grand prize of $5,000 goes to a local school of your choice, and you get a MacBook just for staying on any of our prepaid or postpaid plans. Stay connected, stay smart, and win with Digicel. Terms and conditions apply. Visit digicel.com for more details. Digicel. Better connected.
As a general rule, your septic tank should be pumped out by a professional every 3 years. During hurricane season, however, it is important to keep your septic tank at least partially full to keep it from floating or collapsing during a storm. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. A Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
With the heat rising and temps flurrying, it's time to pull into Jose's Rubis, where you can buy 2 1-liter bottles of Aquafina water for only $3. Don't miss your chance to share the love during the Rubis Pure Summer Times 2 promotion. Each time you top up your tank with $25 of merchandise or from our 24-hour food mart or with your car's favorite fuel, you earn another stamp. Collect 6 stamps and you are entered to win $5,000 for you and $5,000 for someone you love. Don't forget to pick up tickets for the Lions Club Benzorama at Reflections, Hemp and Tobacco, Food for Less, and Jose's Rubis. Now open 24 hours a day.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for calling. And it's open line. Callers online. Let's go straight. Welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, me again, Sterling.
Welcome back again.
Testing my memory here now. I was thinking about how this weather, how the heat and the summer and everything, and the fact that children are out of school when the summer is upon us, right? And I remember years ago when I was just as skillful with my ability running and climbing and swimming and all the other things that normal children in the Caribbean, especially in the Cayman Islands, know.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, what happened to with all the development that is going on here, and we're seeing these big not skyscrapers, but these big buildings that are more than what we are normal to see. We notice a lot of people coming in on the island. Let's just say, give or take, they've had traumas that they're escaping. That they are looking for resorts, like tourists, for example. They're looking for resorts that are adult exclusive resorts where it's mainly just adults only. However, they would put that if they don't have any children, or they've lost children, or they just do not have any interest in having children. And what is going on with the what it used to be they had these places where the children would gather, where they would have, like, I don't know if you remember, back in the days they had by KFC and in the front of the wharf they had this place. I think it was O2B Kids, and that used to be a very fun spot that a lot of the children would go to. It's like an arcade that people would be able to carry their children. The parents would be able to carry their children and know that they would be able to be in a safe environment where it's not that they're exposed to the weather. You know, they don't have to worry about like how we have now the public parks, that there are not sufficient amount of shade, and the playground is actually very hot, where it's actually harming children. I mean, I would assume it would be harming children if they was to go and say they were going to play on the slides and plastic, and it's underneath the sun, which is going to be above 100, and I would assume 130 degrees Fahrenheit on these surfaces. Is that something that would be the investors' interest, where while they're developing for us adults, are they thinking about the children as well? Because I don't think it's sufficient enough that they are building these little 15-minute cities, and they have these waterfalls and these fountains for the children to play in, and being exposed to the sun for hours, because to tell a child, no, there's enough play and time, that's almost impossible without an argument. And I don't understanding how it is, when it's time to go, it's time to go, but they don't understand that. And like, there's no safe haven for children that I know of, how it used to be before. Like, there were at least 3 different places you could go to. It was right across from where we know Burger Shack and this place where they had the butterfly farm, and they had the Dunkin' Donuts in that place. I can't remember what the name of the place, Just Kids or something like this. And then they had the arcade up by the Grand Harbor, and it was like video game arcade, and then the skate park. These things are slowly disappearing in my eyes. I'm not as young as I used to remember, so I'm not engaged as much anymore. But what is going on with these things are being harder to find now.
Yeah, you make a good point, and maybe it's not just for young children, but specifically for them, but even for other forms of entertainment that may not involve some of the things that we have. Are we too limited? Is it quote unquote nothing or not enough to do? But I appreciate it, man. I'll put some thoughts and maybe answer you, but I'll take the other callers first. All right?
Yes.
All right. Thanks very much. You're welcome. Thanks for calling. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you for calling us back.
Sterling, the gentleman you had before the news break. I take my hat off to him. He's saying a lot of things that is so true. And he did mention a couple of weeks ago, if we get I don't know, 15 or 20 people to get help with it, like Bill from that $50,000 that they allocated there the other day, it would be a miracle. But he is speaking the truth, and he is shining a lot of light on things that need to be, possible here for the few commandments that is left. And I just want to say to the young man that you were just talking to, he comes across with a lot of good points, but I just want to tell him that he's saying that it's not, we had a few places here where the kids could go and play and all that kind of stuff. But Sterling, I think what happened to those places that you had the bowling alley, and we had this and we had that, and then Cayman Bay opened up and the kids was going down there and getting in fights and all kind of stuff. So the majority of the stuff that they was trying to bring here for these young teenagers and young children, I feel that they are the ones who help not having those things to go to right now, because the majority of parents take the smallest child there when they're ready to drop them off and expect them to babysit themselves, and it goes and get in trouble. So it was something to try to keep a business going that kids are allowed to come to, and didn't have any parents' help or no guidance help from anyone, no more than the staff that was inside the building. And they were not there to babysit nobody and in those places, you understand? Families been taking those places for babysitting, locations, especially when Cayman Bay opened up, they turned that into a babysitting situation, you know, and that kind of crashed as well too. But I didn't call you in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to tell you earlier that I was driving on up there in Red Gates. You know, Mr. Brian got that whole strip cleaned up some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that whole left side is lined up again with a lot of cars that needs to be removed. And that is a sore right for anybody, including our visitors, because 99.9% of the taxi drivers drive that road to get onto the 7 Mile. And that is a very sore eye welcoming to this island.
Yeah, let me ask you, because there was a caller a number of years ago. He called, he identified himself as a taxi operator. He said, listen, you know, we bring people here many times every day, and something needs to be done. Not only is it unsightly, he said it's unsafe. You know, you got cars out in the road and whatever. He made the appeal, and within a few days, the derelict vehicles were removed from that roadway. But they were back again. They removed. They're back again. They removed. And if you're now telling us they were gone the other day, they're back today, is it that the people who are doing it don't fear any punishment? Is there no punishment? If there's a punishment, it isn't sufficient. And I use the word deliberate, right? Punishment. Whether it's a fine, whether it's a prison sentence, whatever it is. But is it then that beyond that punishment, is it that we don't have a sense of respect, a sense of appreciation that it's unsightly, it may be unsafe, maybe unsanitary? Is there something that is missing in translation?
A lot is missing, Sterling. One thing to help solve that problem, whoever that garage is there or how many garages are there, just get those license plate numbers and go and slap a fine on them for $500 for one car, and I can probably guarantee you that you won't see no more cars on the side of that road.
So is it?
Go and put a $500 fine in their hand.
Okay, so is it enforcement then? Is that a problem?
And they need enforcement of the situation, because if Mr. Brian could have gone and got that lane cleaned up and they all back again, that just tells you they don't give a rat.
Well,
they don't care.
Then that speaks to a bigger issue in our society as to what is causing that sort of mindset, the failure to enforce or the failure to appreciate that there will be enforcement and people are not...
Failure to enforce, my dear. Failure to enforce.
Well...
Because you want MPs do, the politician go and grin up with them and say, I give you 5 days to move this car or these cars. Yeah, man, they got to make a more than 5 days time.
Okay.
It took about 5 days time. 5 more added to the 10 days park up there. And I wonder how many times a day an MP drives that Red Gate Road.
Yeah.
Sterling.
I hear you.
Go ahead, honey.
No, I hear you. I'll let me listen.
Okay.
And then we take the other calls. All right?
Yes, I'm going home now on the road. I'm paying my bills this morning, and Sterling, I just paid a water bill last month for, I think it was $70, and that's pretty much what my water bill ranging. Sometimes I go to 80, depending how much time I would clean the car, which the car is not being cleaned like it used to be, but I water my plants, and it's only me one. And Sterling, I went to the water authority this morning when they got tell me that my water was $141. I'm like, what did I do in July that I didn't do the rest of all the other years? They're gone. What did I do different? I told them, I said, please, you only send someone here and check this meter, because how can one person use $141 worth of water?
So it double, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll give you an answer, and if there is a leak, that it is properly fixed. But let us know what they say if you wish, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
You take care.
You too.
Care.
All right.
Good.
Take another call. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Hello, good. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello? You there? All right. Next one. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, good evening, Sterling.
How's it going, man?
Breezing nice, man. How things is?
Boy, you know, if I don't say too much, then people mightn't be able to speculate. But it's all good. In the neighborhood.
Yeah, man, keep it like that. You get a little piece of chocolate, and then you can sit down on the tree and talk to yourself, man.
No, man. My fear is that my answer.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the best conversation is sitting talking to yourself, girl. It's not argue back. And that is what I want to talk about today. And if I didn't call voice of opinion for the Kevin Brock people, I would feel like I losing out. So you know, when that gentleman that called just before you break there, I had to agree with him. The young man that was speaking about how the island vaporizing with all the little activities that he used to hold. I remember going to the skating rink, came on and all like that too when I used to go down there. But I want to speak about what our gentlemen were talking about with especially the pinch on part. That's why sometimes we stand more chance of talking to ourselves, because when we implement these government officials, these political officials into our lives, we get no answer. We get no absolute answer until at that time for election, and then you won't hear them coming knocking, ask somebody can do to better the country. But when you stop and think, Sterling, you have these people, these foreign nationals that come into this country, and I've been saying this many times before on both shows. The government should not allow these people that are coming in here on their work permits to, at the end of their term for working, to collect a pension. That pension should be there to benefit the people of the Cayman Islands and the Cayman Islands only, not a foreign national coming into the country. Some of them come in here in their 50s, they work and put in 8 years of work, and they go out with their big lump sum, their big pension, and they disappear from this island. You never hear or see them anymore, which thank God that they do. But the fact is, in the long run, that the government depletes the finances of having pension there for the people of the Cayman Islands in the future. It is us that got feel that crunch, because it's us that got rely on that pension. And I can speak that because I am pensionable. That is where I get my income after my retirement. And it hurts me sometimes. It hurts me because of what they're paying me. It can barely pay where I'm going, but you know, I'm a person, I don't hang my heart no higher than I can reach. And I manage to budget myself month after month, year after year on what they're paying me. But for them to come here and make their big $6,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, and they work 8 years, like I say, or less, pick up their big $100,000 paycheck, big pension, and they sit down and they book their next flight to where they gotta go. That should not be. That should not be, Sterling. And like I say, I do not know when they will make rulings against these things as such in order for it to benefit the people. I don't know if that'll ever come. But it should be something that they start looking into and try to get themselves brave enough to make sure that the people receive what they receive. You know how much people today are thanking those that are receiving the little Skyping, the little extra they're getting today. It puts a smile on people's face. But then the people that are working, they are concerned because they are worrying if they're going to receive pension at the end of their term working. And it's easy for any man come before you start and say, oh, yeah, from government departments, it's easy for someone to come and say, oh, yeah, you will get your share when you're ready to retire. You will get your... we do not know what 5 years from now got hold for this country. Like what that gentleman said, the worst is yet to come, and it's just about to happen. It's just that they got the people blinded from their lives, and they're making up stories of having the people thinking that they're in good shoes. Which is all false information, Sterling. All false. Because just to show other countries who go on in recession, we gonna end up in it, but we're not gonna be able to return from it unless that pay us out. It's a serious thought, and for people that are looking forward in the next couple of years for retirement, they're concerned. They need to be concerned, because when you check pension and they tell you, okay, you can only get a certain amount and then receive after, you might get what you say. They say they gotta pay you. You might, and that is because of the strain that other people are putting the government under to receive the big lump sum that they have to receive.
Mm-hmm.
The government have to pay them. They don't have to pay us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, man. Well, it's something to
Yeah, my friend.
think about. Hey, thanks very much, all right?
Yeah, man. We talk again, man.
All right. And as we take, yeah, man, thank you. Take the final break quickly. This one says, you know, I have to question the water bill as well, as I heard the previous caller. My bill last month was $63.82, and this month it was almost double that. It was approximately $125. It makes me wonder. All right, final break. Let me take one final call. Stay tuned.
With the heat rising and temps flurrying, it's time to pull into Jose's Rubis, where you can buy 2 1-liter bottles of Aquafina water for only $3. Don't miss your chance to share the love during the Rubis Pure Summertimes 2 promotion. Each time you top up your tank with $25 of merchandise or from our 24-hour food mart or with your car's favorite fuel, you earn another stamp. Collect 6 stamps and you are entered to win $5,000 for you and $5,000 for someone you love. Don't forget to pick up tickets for the Lions Club Benzorama at Reflections, Hemp and Tobacco, Food for Less, and Jose's Rubis. Now open 24 hours a day.
You're curious. You want to know what Rotary means, what Rotary is, what Rotary does. Mark this date. Set this time, Wednesday, August 23rd, 5:30 to 7:30. The place is Taco Cantina, Buckingham Square. Come along and bring a friend. Meet and greet and mingle. Rotary Club of the Cayman Islands Sunset, a new Rotary Club, invites you to fellowship. Spark your curiosity. Consider membership. Wednesday, August 23rd, 5:30 to 7:30. A free Rotary Fellowship event after work. Refreshments, mingle, learning, opportunity to meet and greet. Supported by Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands. Rotary, create hope in the world.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020. You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Welcome back, and thanks for sharing. One final call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you, man? How are you, my friend? How are you?
Okay, Dwayne. I know time short.
Dr. Frank reminds us, man, time longer than rope, they say.
Yeah, and it's going fast too. Today, Monday, really.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, but concerning the minimum wage, it sounds as though they're hesitating about increasing the minimum wage because the price of everything else is going to go up. Well, they should have thought about that when they signed a 5-year contract with CUC. And then, don't forget, we have the banks starting next year with their interest rates. So by not putting up the minimum wage is not helping the situation at all. What the government should do is increase the minimum wage for Caymanians only. And I'm sure not too many people that are on work permit are going to complain about that. And then again, if the government would do what they're supposed to do in collecting these concessions, which I know they have gone over $1 billion easy with these concessions they have given away, maybe they would be able to put something towards the increase in the minimum wage for Caymanians only. The government has the power to do anything, Dwayne, for us that we need them to do, but they refuse to do so. Thank you very much.
I thank you. Thank you for that, man. And maybe next time you give us, why they refuse that, is it interesting? But thanks, man. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And to our listeners, thank you very much for joining us start this morning. Come back Wednesday for it. Tomorrow you can do a buzz. But be back for Talk Today after the midday news. Much was shared today. We will endeavor to reach out to CIFA to see if we can get an answer. We will find that press release in response to our question about Ed Bushfield. We'll see what else we can find out as well. There are many problems in our lives, personally and otherwise, many problems in our societies, globally and even locally. But are there solutions? And are there a willingness to seek a solution? Is it that we lack the will, political and individual? I think in the Cayman context, whether we are 100,000, just as a round number, or more, maybe it's easier to identify the issues as it's easier to identify those who, infringe and affront the sense and sensibilities, who offend our norms and our morals and our values. But is there an inculcated ethos in each of us to ensure that our roads are not littered with dirt vehicles or trash that should be put elsewhere? The question, though, to what extent are we contributing to the problem or are part of the solution? Is there a sense that we're going to hold each other accountable because we ourselves are going to be responsible for our own actions and inactions? Easier sometimes, they say, to point fingers, to ignore the 2x4 that's in our eyes and see that little mite that is in the others. But if we're not willing, to stand in the gap, and if we're not prepared to stand with courage and conviction, with a sense of compassion and consideration, that growing care and concern that we shall for Cayman and each citizen, then what are we doing? Is it all about the money that we have? We're leaving, like the pharaohs of yesteryear, that we could take it with us as we're entombed? Or is it the legacy that we're really trying to leave is one that is so, significant that it causes each member of our society to aspire to an ethos of love and responsibility, an ethos of respect, and a desire to be, right standing with each other. For many of us, we have somehow adopted and implemented in our minds this notion that the golden rule now is he who has the gold or he who has the gun. Perhaps for us, it isn't about having that love and that sense of humanity. I find each day to be, what it is, a gift, and increasingly to be able to share with people, things that can be shared, with others. I'm reminded earlier of the need for humanity. I talked about humility in the past, but greater sense of humanity, of a greater and growing sense of love. Well, if we don't love one another, well, what's going to happen? Tomorrow, my friends, prayerful that we'll be a part of it, that's productive and positive, that as we consider what the day would hold as it unfolds, that'll be one that keeps us safe and sane until tomorrow. Be of high favor until then.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman